I put my trust in you, and I trust in our love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love. I put my trust in you, and I trust in our love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love.
Hello, friends. My name is Dave Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain. And we're your fuck buddies?
We're a sex and dating advice podcast where we take your sticky, sexy situations and turn them into sexy, sticky situations.
Simply put, we find questions either online. We're kind of like the Santa of the podcasting world, where we'll gather raw materials known as questions, and we fashion them in our workshop in the North Pole into answers and advice. And then we drop down your chimney with a big sack.
I was going to say, our sacks are so heavy.
Bulging sacks. And then we deliver this advice to your ears. But not just once a year like that fucking scrub. We do it every week.
We do it every week. And let me tell you, I'm incredibly ill right now.
Dane's dying right now. And his dying wish was to do one more episode for you guys.
Yeah. Also, John Cena's going to come say hi to me because that's what he does. Those are my two wishes, to do one final episode and just to chill with John Cena for a little bit. That's my fair. Christmas gift to you is, okay. You won't have to do any clips for this episode because you will not be able to find video of me not blowing my nose or coughing. So there's no way.
That just means you're going to have to go back to previous episodes and reopen
that's my gift
brain.
To you.
Just no, I don't do social media for a little bit?
Yeah, just for a week, Christmas.
Thank God.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I will say I've been slacking. And by slacking, I mean I haven't been posting on TikTok because we keep getting banned because they've just decided no sex.
They don't like us.
You can do worse things, but no good sex and dating advice. It's also funny
because you can twerk in a kiddie pool full of Jello in a nothing.
Yeah,
but,
which is what we're gonna have to start doing.
Yeah,
that's my
podcast,
gift to you.
Yeah.
This week we are going to talk about asked a girl out on Teams, got left on scene, but now we keep making eye contact. What do I do?
Is this blue balling?
A boyfriend doesn't want me to have a breast reduction.
Is this classified as a kink? Again, I'm not sure if I've brought these questions
before.
Yeah. So
I'd like to blame your sickness, but it is something you say every week. So
yeah, it's usually I erase the questions now, but I don't know, man.
They don't immediately ring a bell. So
yeah,
we'll see.
They're at the bottom of my list, so I assume they're the freshest.
This is by Snack Overflow. Asked girl out on Teams, got left on scene, but now we keep making eye contact. What do I do? 27, male, 6 foot, lean build, average looking. She's 27, female. Honestly, way out of my league looks wise. She's really beautiful. I first noticed her in the office cafeteria, and it was an instant crush. I kept daydreaming about her and imagining her as my girlfriend. After hyping myself up for days, I gathered courage to finally send her a message on our office's Teams. Hi X, I'm Y, working in blank team. I've seen you around the cafeteria and seemed like a friendly person. Would it be okay if I ask you out on a coffee? That was it. Left on scene. No reply at all. She could have at least said no. Laugh emoji. I accepted the L and tried to move on. But fast forward 2 weeks and things changed a bit. She's looked at me multiple times in the cafeteria. We've had solid eye contact. I feel like this might be the first time she's actually seen me properly in person. Now we've been having eye contact almost daily, and I'm confused. I don't want to message her again on Teams because that might come off as pushy or even get me into trouble at work. So what do I do here? Do I just leave it and assume she's not interested? Or is there a respectful, low-key way to try again in person?
I keep thinking you're saying teens?
Teens?
Like teenagers?
Yeah, he hired a bunch of teens, which is honestly the best way to do it.
Yeah. Did you misspeak when you said, can I ask you out on a coffee? Just on a coffee, huh?
Yeah, just on the coffee. Honestly, the entire message is slightly just wrong. And I'm like, did ChatGPT do this for you? And it just doesn't understand.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't think that this is the problem. I was just confused. I was just
It's
worried.
a problem, but it's not the problem.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's not a great anything, but
hey, would you like to go out in a date?
Yeah. I'm trying to organize my thoughts in like order of importance. Look, I don't think there's any harm in developing a crush for a cutie that you work with.
Yeah.
That's, I think, pretty common.
Hey, we've all done it.
I imagine everyone has at some point in time had a crush on someone that they work with. Even if you're not necessarily like romantically inclined, I've definitely had work crushes with people that I would ordinarily not find attractive, and I certainly wouldn't date.
It's the trauma bonding, right? Because you're in the trenches together, and you're like, yeah.
You also get to see like an aspect of personality, and when you like sort of really deep dive on a personality, as we've talked about before, I think that like you end up getting more attractive if you're a cooler person. So like,
For sure, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, there's definitely the people you brush the dust aside and you got your little like archaeology kit and you're like, oh, a personality, and it's like, oh, it's shit, it's real bad. Like there are people where you excavate and it's just a big roiling void. You don't want that.
It's just a tomb with mummy juice.
It's just a shit. A big old mummy poop.
So that's fine. I'm not going to yuck anyone's yums for crushing on their coworker.
Let's talk about that while we're talking about it. Totally fine. But you have to, if you decide to act on this, be intentional and understand that there are inherent risks with a workplace romance, right? There's the old don't shit where you eat, blah, 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 blah. People say that for a reason. There are inherent risks. You need to be willing to deal with those if you choose to act, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You just need to be aware for your own safety and theirs. And I mean, safety sounds a little dramatic, but I mean, your own peace of mind, job security, happiness, blah, 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 blah. So if you choose to do something with somebody you work with, that is totally fine once you have taken a minute to think about the consequences of your actions.
Yeah, right. Like also some places have like rules about dating within the company, but like whatever. I also think there's a necessary step to think about like your power dynamic as well. Are you in a position above this person? Do you hold authoritative power over this person? Because I think that's difficult because there's the sort of inherent threat of if you don't say yes, you will be punished. And
is
not
there
to say
an
that
implied threat?
Yeah, not to say that you would do it, but
but also not to say that you wouldn't.
It's not uncommon that that's happened. I think probably every woman has been in this position where a senior person has made a move and they've been uncomfortable or unsure of what to do based on sort of like fear of repercussions.
Also, unfortunately, like women get the short end of the straw with like in workplaces and romantic things. Like a lot of women are treated poorly in the office when they enter into relationships, whereas men tend to be treated better almost. Like women can be like not taken seriously in the workforce because, oh, you're just with that guy, like it is shitty, but there is
your way to the top.
Exactly. There's a societal risk for women that men don't have. So just consider those things, which it doesn't seem like you have because your approach half-baked at best.
Yeah. Let's talk about approach. It's one thing if you were a remote colleague that you saw this person on like Teams during Zoom meetings or, team meetings, and you guys were both muted and the only person talking was the person, the boss. And you never really had a chance to like water cooler talk with this person. I would understand situations like that of being like, well, I know we're in the same city, but we really have no opportunity to sort of like meet, right? The only way to start a conversation with you is over Teams.
But even then, the only thing you'd have to base on is you're hot, which I don't think is ever a good way to hit someone up.
No.
Especially a woman because, they get that all the time.
My next suggestion would be you need to foster a communication before you jump right to the date.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like you've never talked to this person. And unfortunately, in your scenario, again, what I was describing is a thing where like you never could have a conversation because of the nature of your work. You're remote, blah, blah, blah. You don't have that sort of like physical space to be like, hi, how are you? That is the only time where like shooting someone a Teams message, I think is okay or makes sense to do.
And even then you shouldn't just lead with the date.
100% not. No, you need to sort of like reach out and be like, if you notice they laughed at a certain part where no one else laughed, but you thought was funny, you know what I mean? Like you have to find a way in. And I'm not going to go through the possible ways of doing that. But you do have this daily occurrence where you see this woman at the cafeteria where you could shoot your shot for realsies and go and strike up a conversation with them. Again, I'm not here to tell you how to have that conversation because I don't know.
You are actually, that's your job.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not gonna because I'm sick.
That's fine. Yeah, that's not the question right now.
Yeah.
And even then, again, I'm going to keep hammering this home. You shouldn't just walk up and be like, you look nice, you should go for a coffee.
100%.
You should actually make a connection so that like.
This is your chance to start the interaction. Because
and the best thing is, you don't need to have a cool opener. You don't need to have a shadow line. You don't need to be witty and clever. You just need to be nice and normal.
Yeah. Again, we've said it 1,000 times, and this is something I believe. The best pickup line is hello.
Yeah.
That's how you start a conversation with normal human beings, and that's how you talk to other human beings, which she is. She's not this like mythical, beautiful, fake girlfriend that you've made up in your mind. She is, you know, Claire from accounting, and she has her own life, possibly even a boyfriend, right? Like you don't know her status. You don't know anything about her. You don't know what she likes, anything. You don't know anything
also,
about
she
her.
doesn't know you. Also, she could suck. That's the thing. Like you're just like, you're hot. And you message her the worst way. Like messaging someone on Teams is like trying to use LinkedIn as a dating app.
LinkedIn, yeah.
Because
100%.
one, it is like logged and official company, you know, like you could get in trouble with HR. It's just there. It's not professional. People have access. IT see this. Like it's just not the way to do it. It also puts her in a really weird position work-wise, and especially because you have never talked to her. Now all she knows is this guy stares at me in the canteen and thinks I'm hot and like doesn't have the confidence to talk to me, doesn't have the social wiles to come chat to me, but does think this is appropriate. Like that sucks.
It's the workplace equivalent of like sending your friend to ask out the hot girl, you know, being like having your friend go over like the cafeteria and be like, hey, so my friend over there thinks you're cute and wants to know if you want to go have a coffee, stand on a coffee.
Yeah. And that was kind of weird even when we were kids.
I never understood that, and it pissed me off so much. Even as a young man who, I'll admit, was kind of starved for female attention, for the feminine gaze to be upon me. But like anytime like a girl sent one of their friends over, I'd be like, no, fuck off. Come talk to me yourself, you weirdo. And this was as a insecure teenager who desperately wanted to be noticed by women. So
see, it's funny because it was like a thing in Ireland where like people would do this pretty regularly. Like when we were like 13, and like I definitely had no qualms when someone came over and was like, my friend like you. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. But I hated when someone's like, oh, you like her? I'll go talk to her for you. And you're like, and they go and you just see them having a conversation and they like look over and you're just like, oh.
Yeah, you just
what am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
because I'm not gonna pretend I don't know what's going on. Like I could like lean all cool, you know. That would probably look fucking douchey, but I don't know if it was actually worse than me being like, hello, you know?
Yeah.
Weird. I once went over to like, we were at like a summer camp thing when I think I was like 13 or 14. I was 13. And all during this week, like one of my friends was like, oh, you like this girl? I'll talk to her for you. And like, it was great because every day we went to this water park and I would go and like make out with all these girls in the fucking like the gender neutral like changing rooms. Like you could just go and like slip into a thing, like lock the door and get up to shit. But it would have been a few days. I was having the best week of my life as a 13-year-old. And he was like, hey man, like I've been doing this for you all week. Like you got to go talk to someone for me. And I was like, yeah. And there was this super hot girl. So I went over to talk to her and she was like, I don't like your friend though. I like you. And I was like, this wasn't on the rule books. And I was like, fuck it, let's go. And we ran off. And then he was really angry.
The sort of like reverse happened to me where there
came over and was like, my friend fucking hates you.
Yeah, no. I think it was during a band trip and we were at like another school. And we were just kind of like chilling in their cafeteria. And then one of the other like girls from another school's band was there and they performed before us. So I had seen her sort of like in the crossover and she was just real cute. And I was like, look, well, I'm never going to see this girl again because I have no idea what school she goes to. It was kind of like a
multi-school.
Yeah, multi-city. Yeah. So like for all I know, she was like, you know, a couple cities over. So it wasn't even like a different school in the city.
What's that thing in Glee where they're always like, we gotta get ready? I thought
it was something like that.
It's fucking regionals, also, bro.
I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but I did play alto sax for 1 year in high school band, and I sucked shit. I was so bad. I never practiced. My saxophone was broken, and they wouldn't fix it. Regardless,
it doesn't seem like you suck if your sax is broken, unless you broke it by sucking so hard. Literally and or figuratively.
That's a very real possibility.
So Dane, the thing is, Dane sucked, and there's a lot of different meanings, like an onion to this, where like you're meant to blow, and he did suck, which in turn made him suck.
Yeah. So anyway, I was walking over to this girl that I had, I thought she was cute, and I was like, I'm gonna shoot my shot because like we're literally just a bunch of unattended children,
the best
in
kind.
A random school that like. If we go sneak off and make out in the library and we get in trouble, it's not our school. We don't give a fuck, right? So as I'm walking over, her back is to me and her friend is facing me. And the friend just looked so excited that I guess she thought I was like looking at her. And I like panicked and I was just like, hi. So I ended up having this talk with this like friend that I had no interest in. And I was just real bummed out. And I never like, I just felt so bad. I felt like I couldn't like then pivot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I was like, it would be so douchey and such a dick move and so rude to do. So I was just like, I guess we'll just hang out. She ended up being very cool. We exchanged MSNs and like we chatted for ages. Like pretty much all through high school, like we stayed in contact. So bonus, I got a friend.
Yeah, not a loss.
It was definitely one of those things where I was just like, I fucked up and I can't walk this back.
Yeah. All right. Back to the question. Teams was a bad call. You never talked to her. You just shot out this random message that was like, you're hot and I'll creep on you. Like, why would you think this would work? That's my question. Like, you're also like, I'm this height, but I'm kind of average looking. Okay. So she has nothing to base you on apart from the fact that you don't have social wiles. You don't really message people appropriately and you're weird at work and you're creeping on her. So it's like, maybe if you were the hottest man alive, she'd be like, I'll put up with it because, he's hot frosty or something. But like, you're just a guy and you sent a creepy, weird message a creepy, weird way.
But it's like, even if you were the hottest guy, she could be married. She could have a boyfriend.
For sure,
right?
Yeah.
Or a partner, right? Like she could be unavailable for dating.
Or have self-respect and still be like, I don't care how hot you are. This is a weird fucking message.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is like, the only way this works is if you're the hottest man imaginable and she's willing to overlook the mistakes that you've made, or she has zero self-respect or really wants to get fired. I don't know. Either way, bad call. What are you doing? You should have talked to her. And at the very least, because the funny thing is, I bet you messaged her on Teams because you have absolutely no other way of contacting her because you have so little knowledge and or connection to her. And that should be a thing that makes you think, I need to do more work here rather than YOLO.
And if the alternative is like, I could find her on Instagram, but it would be weird to just message her out of the blue on Instagram, then it's also weird to message her out of the blue on Teams or any other like means of, if it's weird to message someone on one platform for a specific purpose, then it's weird to do it on any platform.
Yeah. And like work is such an easy place to have a very soft breaking the ice chat. You just go over and be like, hey, you're whatever, right? Yeah, I saw you on whatever call. You're part of accounting. Like, how's the end of year, like, rush going? Yeah, boom. Or like, oh, you're in backgrounds. Like, I know you guys are in crunch right now. Like, how's this project? Or like, oh, like anything. You're in the same boat. You know stuff about each other's departments. And if you don't, you can ask. Like, it's so fucking easy. Anyway, I think Teams, no, don't do it.
Yeah, even just
work properly.
Again, hey, how is your day going? If you're in line, you know what I mean? Like if you're in line together, just strike up a conversation. Yeah. And I think you can pretty quickly gauge whether someone is interested or not. In those scenarios, it's like if someone is like vibing with you, they'll stay and chat. But if they're just like, I gotta go, then like, who knows? I don't know. You need to increase your social skills if you want to do this. And
now, sorry, continue, because there's a very important part of the question we haven't gotten to yet.
I'm just saying it's not to use, like, your social skills cannot begin and end at the messaging software that your company uses to perform its business. Yes. If that is the only way that you have contact to someone, then that means that you are not on the level to ask them out on a date.
Yes.
Unless you have rapport with this person and you've been messaging and it's flirty and there's banter. But again, it's now said, like, this is business software. It's probably not getting too hot and heavy if they can be monitored, right? But
and they are monitored. That's the thing. Like, if pretty much everything you do at work is, but your fucking Teams 100% is. So,
but if you've got, banter back and forth on your Teams, that should be the door to then approach in the real meet space and be like, hey, I thank you for making my day exciting, blah, 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 blah. Do you want to grab a drink after work?
Yeah.
There you go. You done it.
Or
but because you don't have any foundation, you're just trying to throw a fucking mansion onto a swamp and being like, why it sink though?
Yeah. I want you to think, because that's the thing. People like this, they're not thinking, oh, I've done a strange thing. I've come with no context. I've come with no thought. Like, I just kind of YOLO'd and like, I know nothing about her. She knows nothing about me. Why didn't it work? And it's like, why it didn't work if you thought about it for 1 second. But now onto the staring part. We keep making eye contact. She keeps looking at me. Is she like, maybe? Or is she like, who sent me this message? Is it this guy who's still staring at me? Like, I'm worried. Maybe I got to make him back off by looking him dead in the eye. She could message you if she wanted to.
it's also like going back to the high school, sending your friend over to say that, like, now that this information is in the zeitgeist, now that you're aware of this information, like, yeah, you're going to look over at that person every now and then, right? Like,
especially if they're staring at you.
Yeah, like you're gonna like clock him and be like, oh, there's that guy. Okay, like
and he's staring at me,
and now I know where not to sit in the cafeteria.
Yeah,
and then it's like if you are staring at, if you're still looking at her, like she might look at you again to be like, oh, he's still staring.
Yes,
right. Like there is a level of self-preservation that needs to take place. And I imagine it's doubly so for women, and especially in the workplace, right? Like where there's, I mean, like if someone's staring at me, I'm going to keep clocking them, right? Like
sure.
I'm going to keep
it's going to be like,
checking.
oh shit. And then wait, they're still doing it. And then like, whoa, what's going on here? Not oh yeah. I fucking love that Teams message. And like, I'm not going to fucking reply, but I'm going to stare at you in the fucking cafeteria. Like, really? But that's how you think this went down?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way to do this normally because you didn't leave the door open. You slammed the door and there was a note saying, you hot, let's go on a coffee. There's no pretext now. Like there's no other way for you to chat to her because she knows you just want a bone. She knows you just want to take her out. And she knows that you, again, are bad at social stuff and don't care about her other than as, I guess, the sex object because you never talked to her. You never made an attempt to connect in person or via Teams. You just went, you're hot, coffee?
Yeah, you've shot your shot. You did it.
Mm-hmm.
You did a bad job. But now the shot has been shotted. It is up, it is gone, and unfortunately, you missed. And she knows that you're interested, and if she wants to act on it, she will. And that's the sort of peace of mind you have to move forward with and be like, there's 2 lessons here. Lesson number 1, this ain't it. This ain't the way to do it.
No, it ain't.
And lesson 2, you shot your shot and now you need to move on. Those are the 2 things you need to take away with. And hopefully you can marry the 2 concepts and learn something so that you don't do it again. And so that the next time you think there's a cutie at work, you'll go and try to treat her like a human being and get to know her and introduce yourself and build a foundation of a relationship and then make your move and then shoot your shot. And hopefully she'll reciprocate. But if she doesn't, then you go back to lesson number 2, which is you shot your shot, you move on.
Yeah. And the thing is, at least in that case, they'll be able to respond in a nice, normal manner because they'll have a rapport with you and they'll be like, oh, sorry, I'm not interested versus hi, stranger via Teams. I don't really want to get a HR violation. So this is awkward for me. Also, I think your job right now, your new job, you've been promoted to don't make things weird for this girl. So that includes staring at her in the cafeteria and anytime you interact. So next time you interact, you're going to be chill and you're not going to talk about this. You're just going to be normal. And like maybe, I don't even want to say this because I think you'll take it the wrong way. Maybe if you do interact in a non-weird way, it could lead to her being like, hey, you did message me before and you could like have a chat about it. But I think right now you just got to be normal. Stop staring at her. And if you chat, it has to be a normal workplace chat that's natural and not you being like, you never messaged me. I love you. That's your new job, being chill to this woman. And your second job is learning to not do this again.
Correct. This is from Lynx Earl. Is this considered blue balling? 21-year-old female, never had sex or dated anyone, but a lot of guys approach me IRL or ask to hang out, go on dates. I never tell them my lack of experience just because I find it mildly embarrassing, and I don't want them to take advantage of it because the guys I've told found it more tempting. Still just trying to explore what I like without going all the way, so on rare occasions I'll give in and hang out with a guy. Like making out, groping, and shirts off is probably the most I do, especially with someone I've just met. I didn't realize that blue balling was an actual thing till my friends brought it up, so I don't know if this would piss some dudes off.
This is a weird question. I don't think you should really care about what pisses dudes off because a lot of things will or won't depending on the person.
What?
Look, I've done it. What I think is important is to set clear expectations and also maybe to figure out your views on sex because like I don't like the verbiage of like sometimes like give in. That's like to them like, or
find it embarrassing.
Yeah, like you need to take a breath, realize that like not having had sex before is fine. It doesn't really matter. anybody who's going to try to take advantage of that, it also doesn't matter because you're still the part of this equation. So if they start to get weird about it, that's good because now you know, fuck that guy. And by that, I mean, do not fuck that guy. Like anyone who's like, well, now it's more tempting. Like, okay, bye. Like if you're going to be fucking weird about the fact that I'm a virgin, I'm not going to see you. But if you don't want to talk about that you're a virgin, that's fine, I guess. I do think you should probably tell someone before you sleep with them. But if you don't want to sleep with someone, but you do want to do other stuff, just tell them that and be clear. Be like, oh, hey, yeah, I want to hang out, but like, I'm just a heads up. I don't want to have sex. And if they're like, yeah, no, I mean, then that's fine. And if they're like, yes, then that's cool. But you could also make someone come with your hand or your mouth or various other ways. So it's like, you don't have to blue ball someone if you don't want to. You know, like if you're doing stuff, I don't see the problem in jacking someone off. Like that's a different thing to sex. So do you just have a aversion to even doing that?
But also, like, if you just want to make out, you're not obligated just because you've made aroused a man that you have to finish him to completion. Like,
no, for sure.
And I know that's what I'm saying.
Like, set expectation. Yeah, thank you, Dane. Don't put fucking words in my mouth. But that's the thing. Like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. If you want to just make out, that's great. But like, you just need to be firm with boundaries for yourself. So like, if people start to get pushy or weird, don't just be clear for your safety and for their understanding. If anybody gets weird, leave.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't even know. I understand the idea of setting boundaries, but like, this might just be from my personal experience of like when women are like, when I'm on a date and I would invite a woman back to my place and they would be like, well, I'm not going to have sex with you. It's like, well, that's cool. Like, that's fine. I'm still going to invite you back to my place. Because the alternative would be like, ew, gross, don't come back to my place then. But it's like, that's whether you want to have sex or not, like you could, because the flip side is I want to have sex with you. And then the idea is, oh, I can't, I've said that I want to, so now I can't rescind that, which you can, right? So I feel like what I would like to push here is not necessarily to her, but to people in the situation at the same time of being like, when someone decides to hang out with you, there's nothing guaranteed. So whether the person wants to have sex with you, whether they don't want to have sex with you, consent can be rescinded at any point in time, and people can choose what they want to do at any point in time on both sides of the fence, right? Like the dude, the lady, whoever is involved in the tango here. So it's weird to me, as you said, like it's weird that you're like, oh, I've never dated anyone and I've never had sex, but I am approached all the time or frequently, but I don't want to tell anyone because I'm embarrassed to do it. But I'm also down to like fool around and figure out what I'm into. Like, I don't know where your stance is when it comes to having sex. Like,
I don't think they know.
Why are you not dating people? Why are you not having sex? And I'm not saying that as accusatory. I'm not saying, why aren't you doing it? You should be doing it.
Yeah.
I'm saying, what are the reasons that you have to not date? Is it just because you haven't found the right person? Because that's fine.
Yeah.
That's
is it totally a fear thing? Is it a religious thing? Is it a societal thing? Is it a repression thing? Like, it could be a lot of things. Maybe you just don't want to. That's fine. But like, obviously you want to do something. So that's the thing. Like, I have so many thoughts because a lot of it isn't clear, right? It's like, I do think setting up boundaries, even though, yes, it is true. Like if I say, yeah, let's go back to mine, there is no inherent agreement to doing anything. You could go back and do nothing. However, I do think there's like that societal, like implication. Like, I think people still will think that. So it's better to front load expectations in my mind. Like if you're like, hey, let's get in my bed and watch a thing, you saying yes doesn't agree you to any sexual act. However, there's kind of almost like the implication that you're in bed. So I think I'm not excusing people for thinking things like that. I'm just saying it's going to happen, and you getting out in front of it is safer. Like, it sucks, but I think there's, just because something should be a certain way doesn't mean it is a certain way. And it's like, the more you can do to make yourself safe and everyone around you happy, the better, right? So it's like, if you don't want to have sex, just let people know so they can make their own decisions. And then later on, if they try to push a boundary and you're like, no, I actually already said this, hopefully you have like a better ground to stand on, and it won't be as awkward as not having said that. And then in the moment having to say it for the first time. But again, if you don't want to have sex, that's fine. Are you also putting a blanket ban on doing anything? Like, do you not want to do hand stuff or mouth stuff or whatever? Are you letting people, bring you to completion, but then you're not returning the favor? And if so, why? Because I could see that being frustrating, because why?
I think it's also like, what are you saying and doing prior to these events as well? are you talking a big game?
Yes, because that's the
Right.
thing. I think a lot of people who I've met who are virgins, who haven't told me, have talked this big game. And then when it gets down to it, they're like, oh, by the way, I'm a virgin. I'm like, so you've been lying? Which is such a weird move.
even just,
But I've
like,
seen it like,
misrepresenting what you're looking for as well, right? Like if you're talking about having sex, but you know that you don't want to,
yeah.
then that's unfair, right? Like
Yeah.
that is, I think that's as far as I would go as being like, that's an unfair thing to do. Because if you're, setting up all of these expectations with no intent to follow through, again, I'm fine. If I hook up with someone or meet up with someone and we've been sexting like crazy and we've said all kinds of filthy things to one another, and then when it comes down to it, they're like, actually, I'm not really feeling it tonight. That's fine. I don't care.
But you're also a good person, right? And there's a lot of people
Sure.
out there who aren't good people. And it's like, whether or not they should be shitty about it, they still may be. And that's not a good position to put yourself in, right? So it's like, from a self-preservation angle, it's like, if you are putting out, if your mouth is writing checks you don't want to cash, why would you be doing that? Because you're going to put yourself in a more unsafe situation. Again,
Correct.
not to say if you say things, you need to follow through with them. I'm not at all excusing people for, assuming things. But at the same time, why would you put yourself in an unsafe situation?
There's a level of responsibility that you have when you enter into any sort of like social contract of dating or hanging out or whatever, right? Whereas like, even just if you and I were like, hey, let's go hang out and let's do a thing. Let's go axe throwing. It'll be lots of fun. I can't wait to do it. And then we get to axe throwing and be like, and then I'm like, this sucks. I don't want to do it. Or, I'm just like, yeah, maybe we'll do something else. It's like, well, I got you excited for it. And it kind of sucks that like, I'm now, I've spent all week being like, we're going to go axe throwing. And then I'm like, haha, no.
Or like you've a friend or a colleague at work who like does a bunch of drugs and you're like, yeah, I love drugs, like fuck yeah, and then you end up at a party where everyone has drugs and they're like, hey, here you go, and then you're like, oh fuck, like it's just not a good situation to be in, because now like if they've procured you drugs or if they've done whatever, and then like I don't know, in that situation with the pressure, do you then cave and take them, or do you make everything weird? And then, you know what I mean? It's just like, why would you do that when you could just be like, yeah, I don't want to do these drugs. And then you're fine. Like it's such a simple thing, but like, again, it can come off victim blamey, but I don't think there's anything wrong with making sure you keep yourself safe as much as you can. So I'll just say, like, get your like point of view clear, why you're not having sex, what you do want to do, and why you want to do what you want to do. Allow yourself to change things in the moment if you want. I don't think you should randomly just have sex without being ready for it, without preparing for it. But like, I also don't think you should give a shit if someone's like, well, you're blue balls me. It's like, if you don't want to do something, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
him
it
having
also
blue
doesn't sound
balls
like
or him.
any of the dudes have complained about this. It seems like your friends are pressuring you, right? Like it didn't say like the guys have been complaining. It was like, oh, I didn't even think about it until my friends mentioned it, and it was like, well, your friends might be stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
but
your
like,
friends might be idiots.
If you've set expectations and you guys are making out or hanging out and they're super horny and they get blue balls, fuck them. Like, it doesn't matter. That's like, sucks to be you, but we've set expectations. You entered into this willingly. You're horny. I get it. But, that's not my responsibility.
And let's talk about blue balls as well for a second.
Just very quickly, if you are doing things and you're like, if you are taking clothes off and you are like half jacking someone off and then decide that you don't want to finish, I think that's kind of shit. Because like denied pleasure and like that is again, you can rescind your consent at any point. But what I mean is like, if that's your plan, if you're willingly going and like getting somebody worked up with no intent to finish them off, that's kind of a kink of yours that someone's now entered into non-consensually. And I think that's weird, like pleasure denial without consent. And I don't mean just denial by not doing it, but I mean like participating to a point and then just giving up on purpose.
Also, if you find it becoming a thing where like I've hooked up with people where they're all hot and heavy, and then for whatever reason there's a block and they say, whoa, we gotta hit the brakes, we gotta stop. And it's like, okay, great, that's fine. Like, okay. But then like 2 seconds later, it's like hot and heavy again. It like the whiplash of it, of just being like, well, now I don't know what's happening right now. And I feel like I'm taking advantage of you because you've asked multiple times to stop, but you keep initiating. So I'm assuming that's the green light, but we just keep hitting that red light again. So,
Yeah.
right, like if you find yourself getting into situations where you need to pull the ripcord over and over again, that might be an indication that you're not ready to do this.
Yeah.
And
And
I
you also need to
appreciate you.
communicate really clearly in those situations so that your partner has any idea what's going on, because they're going to feel worried, upset, scared, not hot.
So if you find that's happening to you over and over and over again, then I think you need to, again, I appreciate your desire to explore your sexuality and explore what you want, your wants and your needs and your desires, but not at the expense of like someone else's peace of mind and not at the expense of someone else's safety as well. Because like there is a fear for dudes to like be cautious when someone says no, but then attempts to reinitiate. Like I never want to be on the wrong side of that, and I will be overly cautious to ensure that I'm not, for your safety and for my own safety, because I don't want you, if you're caught up in something emotional, something mental, something, you know, that's making you want to pull the ripcord. I don't want you to think that there's any sort of coercion while you're there, right? I don't want you to think that you have to do this just because we started. So that's the thing. You never have, like, again, we'll sing this every episode. You never have to finish something if you start it. You never have to do something because of an implication, like because they bought you dinner or because you went home with them or because it's been X amount of dates or because they have blue balls or anything. You never, ever have to do that. Just know that. So if you're finding this to be a recurring thing where you're getting to a certain point and you're like, ooh, I'm getting the heebie-jeebies. I gotta bounce. I gotta pull the ripcord. I gotta stop. Then maybe work on that first and stop going out with people and getting to this point and then freaking out, because it's going to end badly for you. It's eventually, right? Like eventually this is not going to break the way that you want. I hope that doesn't happen, but the likelihood of you repeatedly doing this over and over again, especially if you're doing it with different guys every time, you're eventually going to get a volatile reaction, and that's not great. And I'm worried for your safety. I also think that if that's happening over and over again, that there is a issue that needs to be resolved with
therapy, probably
therapy, right? Like if you are driven to taking this course of action that you know is going to result in a panic or a bad response or I need to go, I need to stop, then there is a pathway that is not connecting somewhere, and you need to work with a mental health professional to either bridge that gap or find a workaround or something. Yeah.
So I think just like, you know, don't keep doing the same thing. Like doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result isn't going to work, especially if it ends you up somewhere harmful. But understand that you can withdraw consent at any time and you've never accidentally consented to something. But importantly, I think you need to get a handle on what you're looking for out of these dalliances, what you're okay with, and to communicate your boundaries clearly. And I think once you do that, you'll be good.
I do want to talk just briefly about blue balls. These are adult men.
We hope.
Yeah. We have a bigger problem if they're not. If after you've left, they remain worked up, they can masturbate.
Yeah, and they probably will.
And that's fine. You should never be concerned that an adult man can't take care of himself sexually. And if he can't, that's his fucking problem, right? Like you shouldn't have to go through with something that you don't want to go through out of the fear of, I think there's like a mythicality attributed to blue balls as if it's some sort of like debilitating, you know, medical condition that leaves us on the floor writhing in pain. It's like, it's a slight discomfort. And honestly,
it's
even
like,
at that,
it sucks, but not even in the like, oh, that sucked. Just like, nah, it sucked. It's nothing. It's a blip. It's a get the fuck over it. And again, if he jerks off when you leave, he's fine. Like, yes.
This isn't something that he's going to be like, you know, sweating, waking up in cold sweats, being like, I got the blue balls.
He had to take 8 weeks off work when you left. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, he used all of his sick days recovering from the blue balls that you gave him. Like any dude,
and he's in the States, so the amount of time he took off work meant he lost his medical insurance, which means they couldn't even operate on his blue balls, and now they're purple.
It's kind of like a karate color scale.
Yeah.
Once it gets to black, you're in bad news.
But you can take anyone in a fight.
Yeah, you can't beat anyone's ass.
Yeah. I'll hit you real quick with this one.
Okay.
This is by Glitch Pop Loop. Boyfriend 31 doesn't want me, female 24, to have a breast reduction. For context, I'm having a breast reduction next week, a reduction I've wanted for years, way before I met him. Another huge context behind this is we're not close to marriage, nor having kids. We've been together for a year and a half, almost 2 years. We've talked about, obviously, you want the relationship to head in that direction, but nothing is for sure until you get to know each other well enough. Also, huge factor, I'm only 24, so I'm not really in the mindset yet to get married and have kids. As a quick aside to just say I love this energy, like a rational person. I think he is for sure more passionate about the idea than I am. I found out I had PCOS when I was 20. I was told I could struggle with infertility, and that dimmed my light. Over time, I feel like I've steered more away from really wanting it because I don't want to feel hurt if I can't. Like, if it happens mindset. I don't think he understands that. Some men will, but he will never fully know what it feels like to be in my shoes and be told you could be infertile and struggle with PCOS. Last night, we were directed the conversation to surgery. I was telling him it was hard to lean on him for support to surgery because I know he didn't fully agree with it. He thinks it's going to affect my hormones and discontrol me. He only thinks I'm doing it because I don't want looks and want my clothes to fit nice, which, yes, is true, but it hurt when I have plenty of times told him it's because of back pain and insecurity, and again, he doesn't get it. His biggest factor as to why he didn't agree with me doing it is because I could lose the ability to breastfeed and he would want me to if we had kids together. And I was like, I really don't care if I could or not. Personally, I think it's my body, my happiness. And once I get there one day, if I do and choose not to breastfeed, I personally think it's the mom's choice. She's the one having the baby latch on and dealing with it all. Why does one man have to step in and tell you what to do, husband or not? I feel like the man won't feel anything. Why should he tell someone what to do? That's just my opinion and how I see it. Since I said I don't give a fuck if I can or not, he sees it as a fuck me, right? Like, I see his opinion and perspective, but I don't think it's none of his business. But now I feel like the asshole because I want this for me, but to me it seems like he's making it about him. Am I tripping? I was in a long-term relationship with someone else before him and was just always wanting me to be happy and supported me, no judgment ever, especially if it was about my body. He wanted me to feel good and be happy, but now here I am, not used to having someone up my ear making me feel this way, making me guilty for something I want to do for myself because he says I don't prioritize what he wants. I don't want him the day of the surgery or in any of the recovery process, and he's hurt. I don't want his help or his money because he offered to give me money, but I said no. I said, you can't try to tell me you don't want to do something, judge me for it, then say you support it when you still hold your irrelevant breastfeeding comment at an all-time high. Because you still don't understand why I want this for me, and that doesn't feel like support. After you discourage me, you tell me you don't think I should do it because you're afraid I can't breastfeed. Am I the asshole for going through my surgery even though he didn't want me to do it due to breastfeeding risk?
I'm not going to speak on the medical side of things. I don't know if a breast reduction can fuck with your ability to breastfeed. I don't know, so I'm not going to talk about it. What I will talk about is a pretty basic your body, your choice. A pretty basic, I've had 2 friends that I know of who've had breast reductions, and it was the best thing that they have done. The level of like pain that breast reductions usually are the result of is insane. I went to high school with a woman who had very large breasts. And she was uncomfortable even at her age, like, you know, when we were like 16, 17, she was in pain and she wasn't able to get a breast reduction until she was like in her mid 20s. And I you know, when I caught up with her one day, she was like, it is night and day. She was like, I didn't realize that like you could live with
pain free.
This little pain. And the same thing with my other friend who got one done, where she was like, you know, taking painkillers on a regimen just to deal with the back pain and the lower back pain that result of it. So to think that there is a dude out there who is saying, don't do this for you, you're being selfish, and I don't think you're prioritizing what I want, is a crazy thing. And I want to hit this man as hard as I can in the back with a ski so that he knows what back pain feels like, right? And be like, hey, imagine that always,
all the time,
you dumb bitch.
Yeah, I've had a terrible back this year, and it just sucks shit because everything you do, it requires your back. You know, if you have a fucking broken leg and you lie down, at least the weight's off the leg. Now your back is still part of lying down. It's part of getting up. It's part of moving. It's part of fucking everything. And also, like, no, this guy sucks shit. It's like, he doesn't want you to get a thing that's going to be really good for you because maybe one day in the future you may have kids with him and you may not be able to breastfeed. It's a lot of fucking maze, especially I'm looking at his chances right now and I'm hoping they are real low of having a kid with you because maybe get a boyfriend reduction as well because this man sucks.
I think this is also like, it's pretty shitty. Like, I don't know if she's told him about her infertility It seems like she did.
But maybe
But,
not.
like-
She said like, oh, he doesn't like understand or get that. And I'm like, is it because he sucks, which is very possible based on this
Yeah.
conversation? Or have you not told him?
Because, like, if you've told him, if you've had this conversation with him, of being like, hey, I have this thing, it's a risk to my ability to conceive children, that's something that we need to think of. And he's still being like, don't get this thing that's going to make a huge difference in your life because of, like, you were talking about the maybes, but like now you're adding on the possibility that you may not be able to have children at all. So he's saying, hey, let's take sliver after sliver after sliver of possibility and weigh those above your comfort, your happiness, your self-esteem. It seems like you talk about insecurities about it. So he's putting all of these things, having a child and potentially breastfeeding. That's the concern. As if there isn't a fucking ability to feed and nourish your child without breastfeeding.
That's the thing. You could just do that. A lot of people can't breastfeed for various reasons. So there are paths forward regardless, even if all these many maybes come to pass. So you're fine. You know what isn't a maybe? Your insecurity, your pain, and your desire, which is good. I'm glad that you're still going through with it, but you're not an asshole. And in fact, I would heavily reconsider a future with someone who can't understand things from my perspective and is so heavily basing shit on him and a very distant, very not possible possibility.
Especially, like, look, the breast reduction thing is, I'm glad you're getting that pain resolved. But raising a child is a lifelong endeavor that is sleepless nights, not eating well, not being able to exercise as much as you'd like to, right? Like there's a long list of things that are going to have an impact on your health, and raising a child is going to be one of them. Having a child is going to be one. Guess who's having that kid? He's not carrying that around for 9 fucking months. You are. You're the one who has to have the child. You're the one who has to carry the child. So there's a lot of physical demands being made of you once more. So if this guy can't fucking wrap his head around the fact that you need a breast reduction to relieve pain, to make your life not fucking suck, I don't have a whole lot of confidence that he's going to be able to wrap his brain around the amount of work and pain and struggle that you're going to have to go through as not only just like the person who gives birth to the child, but my guess is going to be the primary caregiver to this child as well. Because this dude seems like he sucks shit.
Well, that's the thing. Do you want to be in charge of another life and do this incredibly hard thing with a shitty teammate? Like,
with a guy who constantly says, you're not thinking about you're not prioritizing my needs. You're putting your pain and suffering over my desire for you to breastfeed.
Yeah.
Right? Like, everything this man has said he wants comes at your expense. And even the good things, right? Like, even him being like, I want to have a kid and I would like him to breastfeed. That's you. Yeah. You're having the kid. You're breastfeeding. This dude ain't doing shit and he's trying to tell you what to do. Fuck this guy. I'm done with this man.
Yeah, I say dump him, get rid of him, get rid of your boobs, and then live a beautiful back pain free, boyfriend pain free existence and find someone worth a damn. It's also crazy and hurt. Like, it sucks to be like, it's new to me because I used to have good relationship. Like that.
Hey,
think about that. Think about that.
If that's your stance with your current partner, is being like, this is a new experience because the last partner I had cared and supported me.
Yeah.
Then I think like that's all. If that ever crossed my mind in a relationship, I wouldn't leave immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's a crazy thing.
You gotta go.
And
you
gotta
stay
with someone. This guy fucking knocked the sick out of me.
That's good. I'm glad the rage made you feel better. Yeah, you perked up.
This man's stupidity and jazz, the two things that can cure me of a raging cold.
It's true. You got one quick one, or we done?
No, we done.
We done.
This man took all of my energy.
All right, guys. Happy holidays. This is coming up towards the holiday season. We love you. If you want to get us a present, you know how to do it. It's go to Patreon. It's share us. It's tell a friend. It's give us a rating. It's whatever way you can find to help boost the podcast, because, we out here. We out here in the podcasting trenches.
All those things are great. But another thing that would be really great is if you have a friend who's being kind of a dick to women and you say, hey, dude, stop that. Stop being a dick to women. Or if you have a friend who is mistreating her boyfriend and you know it and you're aware of it, say, hey, stop treating your boyfriend like that. Just start holding your friends accountable. Start working towards a better world, because there's a lot of shit we can't change. There's a lot of bad things out there that are beyond our reach, but we can have conversations with our friends and try to make them better people. And I think that is all we can add to this world at this point in time, I think. And please do that. And also share us.
And also join the Patreon. Thank you, Josh Eagle and the Harvest Cities, for the song Paper Stars. And I'm going to ride us into the sunset with some beautiful Christmas-themed bad sex writing.
Ooh.
This is a new bestseller in romantic suspense. He sees you when you're sleeping. A dark and steamy holiday romance of obsession and secrets, where the danger meets desire in the heart of New York City. Why choose between Naughty or Nice and the steamy, suspenseful, Christmas-themed stalker romance that's perfect for dark romance readers seeking a spicy, festive read? It's the night before Christmas. I'm alone in the house. Popular jewelry influencer Chloe Hallman is steeling herself to spend another holiday on her own. Instead, she finds herself drawn to two different guys, a smoldering hot fan of her secret, seductive online persona, and a sexy fireman named Jack who looks out for her in their NYC neighborhood. She has no idea I know her better than she knows herself. Her deepest secrets, her darkest desires. She's careful, but I've been watching, never leaving footprints in the snow outside her home. Jack was the first responder to the accident that stole a beautiful young woman's family 2 Christmases ago. He's been quietly guarding her ever since. When Jack uncovers Chloe's secret account, his obsession only grows. Both he and Chloe are drawn to the darkness that mirrors their own. She's my Christmas wish come true, and I'm hers. She just doesn't know it yet. Will Chloe's Christmas be a tale of fiery passion, or a dangerous game with a man whose love knows no bounds? Tropes, stalker romance, acquainted in real life, non-consensual snow shoveling, Christmas romance, fire romance, morally gray MMC, he falls first, forced Christmas joy, kink friendly, wearing of ugly Christmas sweaters.
Dude, back in the day when I had to shovel my driveway and my sidewalk, I would have loved for some consensual, non-consensual shoveling.
Honestly, I have it. My neighbor, who's an old man, if I don't get out there first, he does my shit, and it sucks because I feel so bad, and I'll try to do his shit then. So we're in this like silent kindness war.
You need to tell him that he's kink shaming you or cucking you.
Maybe both.
He's snow cucking you for sure.
Yeah, I got to sit in a chair and watch him plow my driveway.
My name is Dave Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain.
And we have been your fuck buddies.
Happy holidays. Santa?
Sounded like Dracula.
Santa Dracula?